yes, the important thing about the CAAP is that it gives us an opportunity to evaluate or assess our school culture to help us understand what worked, what does not work, what we need to work on to enhance the culture, the climate of our school. So I'm sharing with you, my team, so that you will understand what we put together, the things that we've worked on, the things that we put together, and what it looks like, what it can look like, what is our vision for Weldon High School STEM Academy. So I'm going to share the PowerPoint with you in relation to the observation that was performed and the data that was collected. First, we want, as I stated, we're going to assess the school, and this is the bulk of the information that pertains to what we did in particular, what things that we addressed, how we use the information, the data, what types of forms, what things that we kind of fell back on, like the TWC, we fell back on that, and some of our own created tools to make sure that we were hitting every point and place within the culture of Weldon STEM High School Academy, so that we could make sure that we were assessing the needs and addressing the needs and how severe they were, or how maybe they were not as severe in some areas, but we wanted to make sure that we knew what they were. And as we've already talked about this over and over again, and looking at our proficiency, how is our proficiency, how is our academic status affected by the culture of our school? That is why we're doing the observations, that's why we're doing the walkthroughs, that's why we're creating the surveys, and we are basically comparing them to the TWC's 2018 survey report. We're comparing to see where we are today and what are some things that we can do to make it even better. So I'm sharing this in hopes that we can not only identify the issues, but address the issues and find a remedy to making sure that our school culture is healthy and is conducive to learning and growing and instructing. So when we looked at we looked at our observation, our walkthrough, the interview here, one of the things that we want to make sure that everybody understands when we share this with our administration, we want to understand that many of the things that are located or many of the things that are addressed up here are connected to the TWC. So we're looking at some of the exact same areas, and we went throughout the school. As your team leader, I went throughout the school and I addressed these areas. I asked questions, and the teachers responded and according to their understanding, according to what they felt like was going on in their culture. So I asked the questions such as, are there leadership opportunities for teachers? And some of the teachers responded that they felt like the leadership opportunities was pre-selected. They felt like it was only designated for certain people. And then others said that they did have opportunities in the SIT team and being BT mentors and being a part of the MTSS team, PBIS team, and being instructional lead teachers, having the opportunity to go out and do professional developments, go in and doing walkthroughs in the classrooms, helping the teachers to build their understanding and their level of teaching when it comes to their students. So those are some areas. That was one of the areas that we looked at. We also looked at their programs in place at Weldon High School that will provide an opportunity for advancement. Again, teachers felt as though that they were pre-selected by central office and there were not any programs in place. Now, when you consider, are there programs in place here at Weldon STEM High School? Well, I have to say, there are no programs in place here at Weldon STEM High School, but there are programs at the central office level that will provide you an opportunity to work in the high school once you have received the certification, the workshops, or whatever it is that is necessary for you to do those things here on that level. We also talked about, does the leadership encourage the teachers to go out and participate in leadership positions or to be a part of leadership within the school system? So some of the teachers said opportunities for leadership is encouraged as needed, and I wanted them to expound on that, to really share with me what they meant by that. And one of the things that was said was, when a position needs to be filled and there's nobody to fill that position, then the position will be offered to you because it's needed. In such situations, they feel as though they're not being used adequately. They're not really being given a position or a leadership opportunity. They're just needed to fill a position at the time. But then some of them said to me, the teachers was like, there are PLCs, that they have to be a part of and lead, PLCs, PDs, district PDs, different activities within the school system. Right here at Weldon High School, they said they have the opportunity to lead those activities, and they felt that that gave them the leadership opportunities. So when we look at this, we're looking at the interview that I was able to share with the staff, and some of the comments that I, once I thought about it and elaborated on it, some of the things that I looked at and some of the things that I was aware of through the conversations that I was having with the teachers, basically, for the most part, teachers were really, were not really aware of what leadership opportunities were. When I asked about leadership opportunities, they immediately thought maybe as being a principal or curriculum specialist, or they thought of like maybe a CT director. They would think of those leadership positions, so they were saying there were none. However, when I did speak with those that understood, they knew that there were leadership positions within the school. Now, when we're talking about are there programs at WSCA that will allow for teachers advancement? Some teachers felt that advancements were pre-selected as stated on the district level, and they said that it could still be used once the district provided that opportunity for you. Then you still have the opportunity to utilize that leadership position at the high school level. So looking at that, we have many more slides pertaining to the interview, but I wanted to share some ideas, and we're going to talk as a group, and I'm going to share this with you through our digital communication so that you can look at this and we can come to a consensus of, because there is an unbalance. You have some saying one thing, some saying another thing, and there's a gap in the middle. So what do we need to do as a team? What do we need to do as a resource to help them bridge the gap and have a healthy culture that is focused on learning, growing, and making sure that WSCA is reaching the potential that the high school I know can reach. So I just want to share a couple more slides with you in reference to the interview. All right, we talked about, are there programs and modified needs, the special needs for students, and they said there were none because of budgets, and then there was no special accommodation. So many times they were saying that students with special needs, and they were saying that special populations are left out of the loop when it comes to participating in programs and things of that nature, and that's something that we really have to make sure that we're focusing on. Are there methods in place to close the academic gap? Now, everybody agreed on this. They were like, yes, there are. They're like the MTSS, dealing with behavior as well as academics, the whole child, making sure that we are focused on every aspect of that student so that they can grow and be productive. We've talked about the leadership using data to make sure that students are achieving, are growing. And yes, we definitely see that being done here at WSCA, and the teachers also confirm that. As they stated, we use EVOS, we use pre and post assessments, we use benchmarks, and we look at that information and we use that information. They said that desegregate the information, and they can have that information to make sure they improve the learning of their students based on what the students know and understand and can do. So there are some things that we're looking at to make sure that we are addressing our students here at WSCA, that we are addressing the academic needs, and we are making sure that there's a healthy culture and that our students are growing in that culture. One more slide, and I'm going to share the last slide about community involvement. So when we're talking about community involvement, I asked the teachers, does your school collaborate with the community to make sure that the students are successful? And basically there is no community involvement as related to academics, as related to student achievement. So one of the things that I've observed throughout my walkthrough, throughout my conversations with staff and other instructional support, there is a program within the school, which is called Communities in Schools. This is the CIS program, but one thing I noticed, yes, it does work with students, the whole child academically, to create a successful environment for that student. However, it is for particular students that are in the program. It's not for the entire school. So we do have some community people coming in, but there are in certain programs that they are helping our students. This is what I've observed. If there's other things going on, I have not observed those things, and those are things that we can talk about. Does the community participate in school activities? One of the things that was stated was, yes, they do, only in sports, only in activities such as sports. However, like PTA and college fairs and things like that, that they're doing FAFSA, things of that nature, they're saying that the community participates very rarely. We want to make sure that we're pushing that envelope, that we're pushing that issue to make sure that our community is participating, being a part of our student growth and our academic success. One of the other things that we're going to stop here, and we're going to have some conversations. We're going to go over the entire slide, and we're going to talk about some other things that I have implemented as related to instruments to identify the need. So we also talked about what is the social economic status of Weldon community. I've lived here all my life. Basically, it has not changed much, but I wanted to hear from the teachers. I wanted to hear from those within the school system what was their view on the economic status. And some of the things that they said was the area is in poverty. Many students are deprived of basic resources, basic necessities. So what one of the comments, as I listened to their conversation, is that the Weldon City School District and the surrounding area struggles with financial stabilities. It has a very few businesses that are thriving. Many people have moved away so that they can go to areas with better jobs. So we can definitely see that there is a lack of resources here in the Weldon City. And there are also a lack of resources in the Weldon School. So what can we do? How can we make a difference? How can we reach out to our community? How can we reach out to each other? How can we build the climate? How can we work together in collaboration and make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students and also building the efficacy of our teachers? So that is what we're doing. We're going to talk about not only the interview, discuss the interview, we will also have conversations about the observation that was done and the survey that was based on the exact identified items within the teacher's working conditions. What did the teachers feel now in respect to what they felt in 2018 with the TWC? And there are some very interesting things that I want to share with you, and I want you to share with me, so that we can grow as a school. So we're going to move on to that, and I'm going to send out all the information that you will need to make sure that we're able to build those understandings, and we're able to work together in finding a solution